everything Carlos said is true. He did know where she stayed. He did know her phone number. Cause she was going on with her life. She had an old new man that made her happy. Sister wasn't thinking about that girl. She didn't think about that girl. She never knew that girl. That girl phoned my sister and said, I left my house coat, my robe in Lo's closet. That's how she found out about her. My sister was with that man for 9 years. 9. Because guess why I know what I know? Because she was fighting to get away from him, so she called us. Every time he rapped. Every time he came to her job. Co-workers got to fix her up. She got to park her car 5 blocks away. So he wouldn't know she had worked many days. That's why he was at the school. He only knew the school and the workplace. Because you don't know what a job is. You can't phone her on the phone no more. Because everything was changed. You went so bad to even try to ask my friend, a friend of mine that know him, I'll pay you $500 if you tell me where she stayed. And nobody knew where she stayed. This is what I say. They think they know. Wait till I start talking. Because I can't talk. I just ain't talk.
Romeca Meeks had finally reached a turning point in her life. After years of emotional strain and a relationship that many close to her described as unstable, she made the difficult decision to move on. It wasn't easy. Walking away from someone you once loved rarely is, but Romeca knew she deserved peace. For a while she focused on herself, healing, rebuilding, finding joy in small, everyday moments that she had long overlooked. Friends noticed the change almost immediately. She smiled more, she laughed more, and for the first time in a long time she seemed free. Then came someone new. He wasn't loud or overbearing. He was calm, patient, and understanding, everything her past relationship had not been. Their connection grew naturally, without pressure. Romeca didn't rush into anything, but slowly she allowed herself to feel again. What she didn't realize, however, was that not everyone was ready to let her go. Carlos had been a significant part of her past, and while Romeca was moving forward, Carlos was still looking back. To him, the relationship wasn't over, it was unfinished. At first it was small things, messages, calls, attempts to reconnect. Romeca ignored most of them, hoping distance would send a clear message. But sometimes, silence only makes things louder. And soon, what started as attempts to reconnect would turn into something far more serious, something that would change everything. Backhand index pointing right if you're already hooked. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories like this. Carlos couldn't understand how Romeca had moved on so quickly, or at least, that's how it seemed to him. From his perspective, everything they had shared couldn't just disappear overnight. But for Romeca, it wasn't overnight. It had been months, maybe even years, of emotional buildup that led to her decision. Still, Carlos refused to see it that way. His messages became more frequent. At first, they sounded harmless. "Can we talk? I just want closure." But soon the tone shifted. "You've changed. So that's it, you just replace me." Romeca began to feel uneasy. She had hoped for a clean break, but it was becoming clear that Carlos wasn't ready to let go. She blocked his number. For a moment, there was silence. Then he found other ways. Social media, mutual friends, unexpected appearances in places she used to go. It felt less like coincidence and more like intention. Her new relationship, which once felt like a safe space, now carried tension. She didn't want her past interfering with her future, but it already was. Carlos wasn't just struggling, he was reacting. And the more he reacted, the more uncomfortable things became. Romeca started documenting everything. Messages, calls, encounters, not because she wanted trouble, but because she could feel something wasn't right. Sometimes, the hardest part about moving on isn't starting over. It's dealing with the person who refuses to let you. What started as persistence slowly turned into pressure. Carlos wasn't just reaching out anymore. He was watching, waiting, and trying to stay connected to Romeca's life in any way he could. To him, it may have felt like holding on, but to Romeca, it felt like something else entirely. Control. She tried to ignore it. She tried to stay focused on her new relationship and her personal growth, but the tension kept building. Her new partner began to notice. "Is everything okay?" he asked one evening. Romeca hesitated. She didn't want to bring negativity into something that felt so positive, but the truth had a way of surfacing. She explained everything. To her surprise, he didn't react with anger. He reacted with concern. He encouraged her to take steps to protect herself, to set firm boundaries, and to not underestimate the situation. Meanwhile, Carlos grew more frustrated. Every unanswered message, every blocked account, every sign that Romeca was moving on, it pushed him further into a mindset that blurred reality and expectation. He began to believe he deserved answers. He began to believe he deserved access. And that belief would soon lead to action that crossed a dangerous line. Romeca could feel it, something was coming. The situation was no longer just emotional. It was becoming unpredictable. There's always a moment when things shift from uncomfortable to undeniable. For Romeca, that moment came suddenly. What had been messages and appearances escalated into direct confrontation. Carlos wanted answers, and he wasn't willing to wait anymore. The encounter wasn't planned. It happened fast. Voices were raised, emotions ran high, and in that moment, everything that had been building beneath the surface finally erupted. Romeca realized something important. This wasn't about love anymore. It was about control, anger, and an inability to accept reality. She made a decision right then to take stronger action. No more ignoring, no more hoping it would fade away. She would protect her peace. But sometimes, when someone refuses to accept an ending, they don't just walk away quietly. And that's what made this situation so dangerous. Carlos wasn't backing down. And Romeca was no longer backing away. The stage was set for something that would change both of their lives forever. The tension that had been building finally reached its peak. What happened next wasn't just another argument, it was a turning point, a moment that would define everything that followed. Romeca had taken steps to protect herself. She had set boundaries. She had made it clear that her past was behind her. But Carlos couldn't accept that reality. And when emotions mix with obsession, situations can spiral quickly. What unfolded shocked those around them. People who knew Romeca described her as someone who simply wanted peace, someone who had tried to move on without conflict.
It's been 3 months of pain and agony. I just want to say thank you, Lord. Yes. Thank you. Justice, please. I just want justice. I don't want to fight with nobody. I don't want to argue with nobody. I just want justice for my daughter. And I want peace in my family. This has been such a hard 3 months. It's been painful. It's been we've been torn apart. One of the leaders of our family, she was the baby, but she was the leader. The holidays are not holidays. I'm just grateful to God. And I am happy on today's verdict. I thank you. And all I want is to be done, is justice to be done. I want justice so I can have a peace and mine. It won't bring her back, but it will be a little piece now. It feel like a big bundle just been lifted off my head and my heart.
Carlos is doing great. He has always.
But sometimes, moving on isn't enough when the other person refuses to let go. Authorities would eventually become involved, and what started as a personal situation turned into something much bigger. The consequences were real and irreversible. Lives were impacted, decisions were questioned, and one thing became painfully clear. Some situations, if not handled early, can grow into something far beyond control. In the end, everything changed. For Romeca, the journey wasn't just about moving on anymore. It was about healing from something that escalated far beyond what she ever expected. What started as a simple decision to find happiness turned into a situation that tested her strength, her safety, and her peace of mind. Carlos, on the other hand, faced the consequences of actions driven by emotion and refusal to let go. The story serves as a powerful reminder. Moving on is a right, not a betrayal. And no one is entitled to remain in someone else's life once that chapter has ended. For those watching from the outside, it's easy to judge, but situations like this are often more complex than they appear. What matters most is recognizing the warning signs early and taking them seriously. Romeca's story is not just about love or loss. It's about boundaries. It's about safety. And it's about knowing when to walk away and making sure others respect that decision. Backhand index pointing right if this story made you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life inspired stories.